找最嫩的吃，你可真聪明啊你！啊，这是要爬出来了，你看。没想到百里香上也有这个吃，不可思议。不可思议啊，这个怎么菠菜没有了，没有了，拜拜，好好睡觉啊。
pasta 和油菜心。
Didn't think I'd climb so high. Never thought I'd have it all. Floating somewhere in the sky. And I don't think I'll ever fall. Hold on, don't let go of me. Just stay right here. Hold on, don't let this slip away. 'Cause I don't know anybody quite like you who can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone. I don't need anybody. Only you can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone. Funny when I'm looking back, every single photograph never fails to make me smile. Hold on, don't let go of me yet. Don't want it to end, just stay right here. Hold on, don't let this slip away. 'Cause I don't know anybody quite like you can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone. I don't need anybody. Only you can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone. 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 I don't know anybody quite like you can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone. I don't need anybody. Only you can lift me up. And the truth is I'm falling. I'll be there till I'm gone.
这块种了太多各种各样的东西了。
要做什么？
你别说，长得是挺好。
要先洗一下，有2种杯。
这个放在这儿。
啊，洗一下一会儿吃啊，我们再去攒几个百草莓好了。
一直什么都没有，等会儿还放心的放了。哎。
你吃了。
这是我锁的还是火炬啊？
今天长得还真的挺好的。
这边，洗一下。
I hope we don't fail to see the beauty of being free. Don't forget what you love the most. I just wanna keep you close. So we have to give it one more try before the idiots are taking over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for?
广告那么认真。
What's it for? There's so much more than we've been told, way beyond what we can hold. So keep your eyes open for the things that really matter. Oh, we have to give it one more try now that the idiots are taking over. They're caught up in the race of wanting more, and we can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for?
哎呀，
Oh no. Mama's on the photo. They're caught up in the race of wanting more. We can tell one from the other. No one can tell you what they're running from. No one knows anymore. What's it for? What's it for?
啊，一直给你挂，今年还有3根。哦，这是种子。
给他们一些新的食物，香蕉皮啊，我们的咖啡粉。我们过几天再来看啊。来吧，let's go。
这个可以。
瓜，你看到了吗？No。
拿着吃啊。哎呀。
Like,
哦，
At the end of the road, just enough to go round. Some say there's still hope if you don't make a sound. Well, I just wanna scream. We're at the rainbow's end. What do you see?
带山头。
Love is a dream.
是我背着跟他说，但他不是自己掉了吗？
Well, you could be right this time. I'm half right all the time. I'm half right all the time. All the time. I've been trying so hard, and finally it gets me down. Down to earth, down to hell, down to